No, because what I did, I started streaming to my YouTube, and it like started, and I don't know if that's going to put me in trouble again. I don't know. Who. Maybe I could stream to my channel. I don't know.
You should be able to. You can link it right here.
Yeah, yeah. They said it. Man, I don't know. We'll see. Because
I don't know, Stephen, because you already told Rick that you were going to help him out, and if something happens to your channel now.
Oh, why are you getting banished again, Stephen?
Oh, I'm not banished, man. I mean, the whole thing is all I did was lost access to advanced features. I can't put external links in the description and what they're doing, and it's stuck right now in a pending state where they're saying they're reviewing my verification video, and my verification video was done over a year ago, and YouTube deletes it between 3 months and a year. So there is no there's no video and I'm not monetized, so I have no direct contact. All I got's the feedback option and make a post on X. That's it. And so and it's stuck in this pending mode. I don't have any strikes. I don't have any violations. Nothing.
So do you think Nancy Guthrie is still alive?
Who is Nancy Guthrie?
You don't know? You don't know? I haven't followed it too much, but apparently that's another conspiracy thing that it's actually quite serious, that some lady from Phoenix, I believe, got kidnapped or something like that, and they're thinking that maybe she's
the Today Show, the Today Show's mother. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah. So I might have to make a video somewhere. I'd have to investigate it a little bit. People are wanting me to investigate to figure out.
I thought you were going to talk about the pictures of Epstein next to his golf cart on his island, and he also his account reactivated from Israel playing Fortnite, and then it was taken private real quick because people noticed his handle went active, and everybody was like, and it came from Israel, and then it was like it was taken private, and it's like,
you see what you get, brother KG, for being on here. Like, we go all over the place. Do I call you brother KG, or do you have a name?
Yes, it's KG. No, that's KG's fine. Hey, could I bounce out and bounce back in? I'm just freezing up all over the place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try to come back in, Shane. Yes,
that's $1.
Okay. But you already owe me 10, so now it's only 9, brother.
Yeah, I got access to your account, bro. Remember that.
You'll want to remember got access to mine too. That's actually
that's the thing, man. I mean, I don't have any ought against it. You know what? I ain't arguing nobody. You know what I'm saying? I love everybody. So
awesome. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight?
Well,
I'm thirsty. I might have to grab a drink too.
Yeah, well, go grab a drink. I might have to get me another Red Bull too. This might be a 10 or 12 Red Bull show here.
Okay, let me get a drink first. You just unpack something. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. I'm just gonna get a drink.
All right. Mark, go. All right.
30. Okay, maybe a minute. Maybe 1 minute.
All right. So here's the thing. I was talking to Noah, which is this Greek dude, and I had him on with. We did like a month ago. We did a show, with the Greek. I forget what it was called, but anyway, everybody loved it and everything, and I've been going back and forth with him and about the restrainer, possibly, I'm gonna say it like being the Prince of Persia, that and that demon being like replaced or whatever by this Grecian thing. And I don't know how to all explain it, because Noah gets in these I mean, these things that go like right over my head, you know, and this, you know, proactive, these, I don't know if Shane had a chance to look at that video I sent over, but he gets so far out there, and I have to say, Noah, hold on, man, speak to me in layman's terms where I can understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, you know? And so, and that's just, but he, he, that guy, you know, and he gets so like, oh man, and anyway, I can't even explain.
You should have invited him on here tonight.
Well, let me
Noah's awesome.
let me throw him a link right now. I didn't even think about that. There we
How's
go.
your video, KG? Is it better? It seems like it's better. I think
it still looks like it's kind of sloppy.
Where are you? What state are you in?
Does it still look bad?
No, it seems all right on my side.
I'm in New Mexico. It's
okay.
Oh, okay. So what I was going to say, Shane, Steven could give you my email or something if you ever need to get a hold of me or whatever, or add it to the list. Because,
are you sure, KG?
When Rick was trying to get me on, I wasn't in there because he's like, no, as long as I trust Steven.
Steven's
I
like,
keep freezing
I'm
up.
never giving you KG's email. That's mine.
So anyway, Shane, what you were asking is KG one of the 99. That's because like when I did the thing with Uptime with Greg over there, I explained that I was out in the world. I think I was saved at a very young age, but I was a wayward sheep. So I always say, you know, I'm one of the 99 now because there's always that wayward sheep. And I say, you know, that I'm safe and secure with the other 98. So he's able to go out and grab that other sheep, that wayward sheep, and bring them back into the fold. So that's why I say I'm KG one of the 99.
I like it. It's not Kagan of the 99. I like KG one.
No,
of the 99 better.
No. Yes.
And Mission for Christ 97. Yes. I think Stephen was born in 97. That's why he has that one up.
Yeah, man, don't I wish? No, I don't wish, because I'm gonna tell you. This is the true story here right now. It's like me and my buddy Jimmy that, you know, was we spent 2 years, you know, from 23 to until I started going on YouTube. But you know, we talked for 20 or 30 hours a week, and it until all of this just everything just blew up here. And I like I said, I still don't even know what I'm doing here, because I've always liked to be the one in the background. I never, you know, I'm good with just like one-on-one with people, but when you get a whole bunch, but now, I mean, it's I'm not afraid anymore, because I don't like try to get me notes and scripts and stuff to put on the side anymore, you know, and it's just like I can just roll with it, you know. And so I was going somewhere else with that, but it squirreled on me. Yeah, I got squirrels running here, but no, it's the oh man, I mean, we're just right here. That's the thing, because I mean, I just look at everybody, you know what Philip Barnett says, and you know, different pieces and parts, and that's one thing, you know. And I mean, everybody, you know, gets all wound up over his doctrine or whatever, but you know, whenever people that and I put a post out on my channel too, you know, because vessels that God was speaking through, the people that, you know, nationally and personally that came against them, that because they didn't like them personally or doctrinally or whatever, but yet God was speaking through them, there could be consequences. And I'm gonna out myself right here, and that is why my channel is where it's at right now, because after that dust up on Bible study with Derek, okay, I was so shook by that I went on all of the thumbnails that I had read for the and I began removing Philip Barnett's name off of the thumbnails, and I got through all 5 of them, and then that's when my channel boom, I lost access to advanced features, and it rolled them back and put Philip Barnett's name back on them. And then I lost access.
So what were you trying to do with Philip Barnett? Like,
I was trying to separate the prophecy from Philip Barnett.
Okay, gotcha.
Because of his doctrine.
So you got to
Okay, so keeping
Godsmack.
keeping the prophecy separate for what he believes and how he.
Yeah, I was trying to create like that, and it was so stupid what I was doing, because it was like all of a sudden I was just going to change the thumbnail and people would magically forget about Philip Barnett and just go with the prophecy. And it's like, how dumb is that, Steve? You know? And then that's when, and that was that I lost that. That was, I started doing that on Sunday, the day after that. And then that's whenever I said, you know, I was kicking rocks for 4 or 5 days. And then finally I just said, I'm going to burn my channel to the ground running his prophecies on premieres. And then I put them all together and started running them. And I figured I would start losing subscribers. And then actually the subscribers started going up. Okay. And so I'm just I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just want to get the prophecy out there where people that are running for their lives in tribulation know where to go. That's it.
Gotcha. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, Rick.
How you doing?
I know it must be late for you, but welcome to the show. We're halfway.
31
We're
minutes,
almost.
huh? Overtime.
Hey, I sent you two. I sent you 2 of them, Shane.
Okay.
I sent you 2 of them.
I see them.
You gotta put in the the other one
slick? Too. Somebody called me Slick Rick in there, man. That's funny.
I like that. Slick Rick. Okay, which one? Buckle. Oh, I see Buckle Up and okay. Got it.
What are you guys talking about? It's overtime. What are we talking about tonight?
We're all over the place. I mean, we started out talking about we were talking about Noah, the Greek guy, and how he, you know, in the Greek, and he's got these manuscripts or whatever, and he said it really looks like that the restrainer is the Prince of Persia, that demon or whatever, just like when he, remember that 21 days or whatever in Daniel, and then that one is going to get replaced by this Grecian demon or whatever. That, and I mean, it's still all pre-trib rapture and everything else, but that maybe the restrainer is not necessary. And then once that restrainer is removed, that's why we have to be taken out of the way. It's like a curveball of curveballs.
And this guy's basing it on Greek, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily koinonia in Greek, or is he just Greek?
It's koine, and there's something else too, because he goes. And
I would love to have him on my show.
And it's amazing, you know, how this guy is only 23 years old, and it blows my mind, you know what? And I just sit there and listen to him, and I talked to, and I was like, okay, all right, Noah, so tell me, so if out of everybody that knows Greek, right? How many of them are believe in the pre-trib rapture? Once you get into the Greek and you understand it. And he said, Steve, it would be like getting on the front of the Titanic and throwing a rose off into the water and say, go find the rose.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's an anomaly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like with
there's not a lot of koinonia Greek, fluently Greek speaking people. So that's one thing. It's a dead language. So you're at a minority just if you can speak or if you could read.
Most I remember of these guys. You said that, Shane. You were like, let's get Brainerd on. So you said something along that and said, just speak to me and have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, even like don't know what happened to Rick. He's evaporated. He'll be back. Oh, there he is. Okay. He's gone. I don't know what happened. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, it would be nice to let's be honest. Most of these people that say that they understand Koinonia and Greek would get lost without their Greek lexicon. They would just get lost. So I'm okay with the idea of somebody having a manual beside them and saying, Shane, here's what it says here. And in English, because you need English to decode, which is interesting if you think about the English language.
Yeah, I know.
You always have to have English to decode Hebrew, Latin, and Swahili, any language. You need English. Otherwise, we won't understand it. It'll be a sounding gong to us.
Yes.
So now you have a problem because you don't have two Koinonian Greek-speaking people talking with each other. You have one guy that reads it from a book and goes, this is what it means based on what this guy said. Therefore, I have my opinion on what it actually means, Shane. I'm like, okay, fine. But that's still your opinion because we still don't know how all the words sound and all kinds of stuff. Like if you go to the tippity top of these guys, they can't go to a food market to buy and sell apples and barter in Koinonian Greek because it's a dead language. They can't do it, but they can read it. They can read a parallel Bible with English and Greek beside it, and they can go, I think this is what this means. Which, hey, I'm okay with that. That's cool.
When we went to Israel in 2012, we took we were into the Messianic legalism, the got to keep the feast thing. And we took Deanne with us, and she could read the original Hebrew, and she was the cantor at, I actually have a video of her singing in one of the amphitheaters over there. It was amazing, the sound with her singing. But anyway, she could read, but whenever you got to Israel, the signs in Hebrew is different than
it's modern Hebrew. And that's the problem. If you go back to original Hebrew, which there is no such thing as original because we don't have the original copies. That's why we have copies. We have copies of copies of copies. We have complete copies of Isaiah in Greek and all these other languages as well. So that's cool. But there are people that are like, we still don't fully understand how it would sound if we were there 2,000 years ago.
Yes.
We don't know.
Come on,
we
now.
We can guess.
That was Noah. I just sent him.
Awesome.
He said, yeah.
Yeah, no, this would be good.
Also, Shane,
for me,
from what I understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, from what I understand, Greek is it's a very in-depth language. So maybe for every one or two words we have, or for every word we have in English, there's 2 or 3 Greek words. So for someone to come up with the exact interpretation of what's being said, 2 different people or 3 different people would have 3 different interpretations.
Yes, exactly. You need context and all that. It would be like me saying, spell 2 for me. Just spell it. Just spell it. You're smart. Spell 2 for me. You'd be like
T-O-O-T-W-O.
Wrong. T-O-O. Right? Like, so if I said to you in the English, 2 means
look at the word
2.
can. C-A-N. Look at the word can. It's used in so many different forms and it's spelled the same way.
So my point is, if I said to you, in the English, 2 means 2, you'd be like, Shane, duh, but it also can mean 2 different things depending how you spell it and depending what context. If there's 2 people going for a walk, that's one thing. But if Joe says to Jessica, let's go 2, he's not saying the number 2. You know what I mean? Let's go as well. It's not what he's talking. You know what I mean? So we have to be a little bit more. What do you mean by that word? What's the context? Where's the chapter you're getting this word from? Are you talking about the book of Daniel? Are you talking about this? Because people go, wrath means hell. Post-tribbers, they say that. Wrath is hell. So that's what God is saving us from, according to Jesus Christ, from the wrath of hell. I understand that, but that's not what we're talking about in tribulation. The wrath of God is coming upon the earth. That's not hell. It might feel like hell, but that's not hell. And then they think, oh, well, we've been going through hell. We've been going through God's wrath. And it's like, no, we haven't. Not today.
We're not there yet.
We're not
guys.
there.
We are
So
nowhere
people
in
will
that
get
vicinity.
mixed up, and that's what happens with English. Imagine that with Hebrew or Greek. I don't speak Greek or Hebrew. I just have my King James Bible, and I've read it a lot. So it has to be in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just make up stuff and say, well, in this language it means that and whatever. Well, that's not what Paul's talking about here. Like, you have to bring it down to context so that we understand it as English speaking people. We have to understand it. Otherwise, like Paul says, it's going to sound like a gong to us. Dumb it down for us if you have to.
My comments.
Hey, Shane.
Yes.
Hey, Shane. I'll keep freezing up, and I was only going to be on for a little bit, so I'm just going to bounce. I really appreciate you inviting me on, brother. It's awesome to meet you.
We'll do it again.
I'll get Steven to give you my information.
Please.
Yes,
Managing
it's just
brother
freezing up on me,
KGs.
and I
Good
can't
to
even
see
hear
you,
half
man.
of what y'all is saying.
Okay. Please do.
All right,
Yeah,
Rick. We'll see
do
you
a
later.
show
Steven, brother.
All right, brother.
Yes. All right, Shane.
All right,
See you
we'll
guys.
See you later,
in the
brother.
Love you all.
perhaps between now and next weekend. It's just the three of us. Let's make do with what we
Just
got
the
here.
three of us.
Just the two of us. You know, I'm just sitting here and thinking to myself, how far will the Lord push this year before he decides he's had enough? And that's one of the focusing discussions that was on my show tonight.
Right.
That how far will the Lord push this until we go home? Now, the Lord knows exactly when he's coming. No doubt about that. No one but the Father in heaven knows. Could it be, does he see the rapture coming this year? That's only he knows that. Now, what will get us out of here? I keep saying that Israel is what's going to do it. If Israel,
Okay, I think Noah's
get
going to be on in a minute. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, brother. Keep going.
No worries.
to destroy Israel, you're fine. Israel gets destroyed 2/3, and guess what, guys? The Lord's not going to allow Israel to be completely wiped off the map. So God's going to have to intervene. Israel's iron domes will fail, okay, if it gets bombarded with missiles. They have 150,000 plus thousand rockets aimed at Israel right now. This ring of fire. It's not only coming from Iran, but it's also its neighbors of their side of the fight. Okay, if we attack Iran, it's going to end badly for Israel. And God is like, if he's decided to come this year, which he's already decided already, it's in stone already. That means that whenever this war pops off, that's when you gotta better have your affairs right with God by having the blood of Christ. If it does trigger the rapture, it could very well, because if Israel's dome fails and it keeps, like Tel Aviv, it's like their main if this, it looks like a shower of meteors. That's what it's going to look like. And they're going to see these things hitting the ground. You're going to see these little bright little blips everywhere where each missile's hitting the targets. Thousands of people will be dying. God's going to be like, I've had enough. Israel, it can't be destroyed. Save her. So what's going to happen is he's got to call the church out of here first. And then this Antichrist, whoever he is going to swoop in and save this Israel from being completely destroyed. Folks, mark my words, if this is it, this war that's coming, and I've seen the numbers, it's staggering, or if that was staggering, that we're talking, this is a big war that's coming. It's big, like a buildup, like the Ukraine war. It's bigger than that almost. It looks bad. I've seen the numbers. They got 50,000 troops on Iran's border right now. It's going to be not only an air invasion. They have F-35s. They're going to use everything they got. They're going for all broke. They're going for the whole country to get rid of this regime change. I can't say the word.
Regime.
That's it. That is it. Now, Iran said they have always wanted to wipe Israel off the face of this earth. That has been their goal from day one for years, from leader to leader, all the way back 20, 30 years ago. Israel must be a cancer that has to be cut out and be destroyed. That is their number one goal. We say there's going to be a day that Iran's going to try to wipe her out completely once and for all. And we know that it's going to be a day that Iran will feel threatened of his very existence, and it'll unleash hell like we've never seen before. That day, my friend, is coming, and it could happen this weekend or sometime this month. This is what I'm thinking is coming. And I know I'm talking too much, guys, but you got to know this right now. Those of you that are watching this program tonight, you're sitting on the sideline just saying, I think I got time, or I'm not sure, or what is it? Am I going to be like, shall I wait till I see proof? Yeah, you can wait. Sure. But then what's the point in that? What's going to be, it's going to go bad. It's going to end badly for you because you waited, took that chance to see for it for your own eyes. You have agnostic believers, people that want proof. And you will get your proof when you're on the other side of the rapture and you're saying to myself, I did it again. Oh boy, they're gone. And I should have listened to Rick. I should have listened to Shane, Steven, Bob, all those guys. I kept laughing and turning the channel off early, going to bed, thinking, my goodness, they're full of it. And here, this actually happened. I can't believe I'm here. I should have gave my life to Jesus. That's what's coming, folks. There's going to be millions and billions who will be left behind. They should have listened. And they're going to have it written all over the face that I should have listened to all these guys. And it's going to be too late because they're going to pull all the YouTube channels, okay, that are talking about the mass disappearances. That's what they're going to call it in the news, mass disappearances. And they're going to wipe off all these channels. And when the power gets thrown back on, they throw that switch. I believe that the internet will be government ran by, in other words, you will have to log in with your driver's license number or some kind of ID they're going to issue. And when you go in and you try to type in YouTube to see what's going on, oh yeah, you'll see videos of people recording the aftermath of the rapture and even videos with security videos of the rapture happening. But you're not going to see the why they are gone videos. The videos with us talking. All those channels will be gone, vanished into thin air. Okay, raptured, whatever you want to call it. This channel here that run, gone. My channel, gone. Steven's channel, gone. Everybody's channel will be gone.
It's gone now.
And yeah, it's going to be gone. And guess what, guys? You're going to be left in the dark, in the dog, in the fog, or whatever you want to call it, not knowing what happened. You're only going to hear official story from the news outlets passed down from the Antichrist. They're going to say they went up there into the sky, but not where what we know, but into the aliens took them. Whatever it is, their stupid excuse is going to be. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And you're not going to. That's why, guys, if you're on shore, you need to grab yourself several USB drives or one with a lot of gigs on it. Start downloading all these videos of us talking. Because then you can insert it into your laptop when you're left behind and watch what you didn't believe before. Now you do now. It's coming, guys.
They need to download. They need to download from my tiny URL that'll tell them all the safe places where to flee to, especially from the California coast after the rapture. They need to have all that information, especially the Azovmana 2 and the to the American Remnant. They need to have that on USB, and all that is available on. Actually, you can go on my channel. You have to go on the description of it. That link is still available. It's the only external link. It's on my channel, and you can download all of those videos and put them on a thumb drive. That's what I've just been buying, especially like as I'm in Texas. I've been putting the Texas. That's not available publicly. People have to email me at missionforchrist@gmail.com in order to get that. And because it's got military stuff on it, on what's going to be happening in Texas. And I've already had people from San Antonio, from Houston, that are said, like the one lady from San Antonio said, my kids are lost and they're going to need this information because San Antonio is going to be overtaken by the Chinese and during the tribulation. And so, I mean, all of that information people need to have, regardless of what you think about the man's doctrine. Okay, I'm not even going there, but he is the vessel that, because God raises up vessels. Okay, he raised up Pharaoh as a vessel. He raised up the magicians as a vessel. Okay, and so regardless if you want to, one wants to think he's a Pharaoh vessel or a magician vessel, that one's on you. I mean, that's, but it doesn't mean that God didn't speak through this vessel. And so, and I'm not even I'm not defending them, his doctrine, I mean, he's an old dude. He cut his teeth on the pews of a Pentecostal church. And, whenever you start getting any one of our doctrines, you take it and you want to start, put it on the chopping block, and start splitting the hairs, man, you're going to find something in all of us that say, man, they're going to be left behind. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're not believing the right way. And so that's why I won't argue about any of that, but people need to have this information. So, and going back to what Rick was talking about what's going on with Iran, it's interesting because, and I hadn't figured this one out. Well, I think I kind of have, because Philip Barnett, we need to play the drinking game song now. But he said that America will never stop supporting Israel. So I think America is going to be doing this, helping, with this Iran thing. And then and if it's this year, then I believe on November 11th, and we'll be gone before that, on November 11th, then America, even though they still support Israel, they won't be able to, because there's going to be so much destruction in this country that then Israel will be left standing alone. Or maybe I don't know how all that stuff's going to work. I really don't, but I find it very fascinating that we are standing on the precipice of this right now. And not only, as far as the aliens, that's all getting ready right now. I mean, they're with everybody seen the Age of Disclosure? Watch House of Dynamite, okay? If you watch House of Dynamite, that's pre-programming. The missile is coming to Chicago. Go read Philip Barnett's. The first city that gets hit is Chicago, okay? This is all pre-programming on what's going on. And I mean, literally after what, I was reading Philip Barnett's prophecy, and then I was sitting there watching the House of Dynamite. I was just getting cold chills watching it, because everything was just lining up. And so I was going somewhere with that, but the alien thing. So, this is fascinating, guys. We're on the precipice of this right now. Okay. And people say, that when we go up, they come down. Man, think about this, man. If those alien ships or whatever, motherships show up and we see them, that would be the ultimate delusion right there, that these things show up and we look up and we're like, oh, we're about to be out of here now, because these suckers, I mean, they're and even if anybody ever watches Sling and Stone over there, no, L.A. Marzulli, and he talked, and he's reading these cards of the other side, and they're saying, there's going to be this mass disappearance or mass evacuation in an afternoon or something like that. I almost could quote it. I've heard him say it so many times. And so they're already programming their new age people that there's going to be this mass disappearance. It's going to happen. And they're already getting them set in their brains. And these people are just and they're channeling, I'm in contact with what happened to Three Eye Atlas. I mean, it's a nothing burger. And because they're already here. And they're breaking through right now. I mean, it's what does he say? It's coming, it's real, it's burgeoning, and it's not going away. Yeah, I almost can quote L.A. Marzulli. Man, I mean, I watch this stuff every day, man. I'm just like, wow. Now I didn't watch his big deal because I mean I already believe it. I don't need to watch all of his $10 DVD set and everything. But I'm just like, and it's just mind blowing to sit here and watch all these people, and you go out to Walmart and play, and it's so surreal, and people are so they can't see anything, and man, what unbelievable, man. But anyway, that's the cool thing, man. I mean, if we said, when Rick was talking about how far, I mean, what are we going to see? What if we see those alien ships come down? Man, we know we're out.
Well, the thing is, are they going to show up prior to the rapture?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
we don't know that. I personally don't think that's going to be the case. They show up. I personally think it's just going to be we're sitting there. Israel's getting pounded, and the dome has failed. As soon as the dome fails, Israel can quickly be wiped out 100% within 24 hours if all those missiles are raining down on it. If they only used up maybe a third, maybe just 25% of those missiles have been used, and they've already wiped out 2/3 of Israel, God's going to step in. He's going to have to step in to stop that if no one else can. And there's where the Antichrist and we go up. I believe that's what's going to happen. People are going to be just doing about their business. Why Israel's being pounded by rockets. People will be eating, drinking, dining, because it won't affect the entire world. People will be still be able to go out and do whatever. They'll just be hearing about it on the news or the radio. Hey, Israel's being pounded right now. You hear about that? It'll be people be talking about it, especially people that are Jewish. They're living all over the United States and saying, that's my home country is being pounded. And all of a sudden, they're out of here. The rapture takes place.
Yeah.
I think that's the scenario that I'm going with. And because Jesus said it would be business as usual when this happens.
I know, and it still is. But
it won't be business as usual if the ships start showing up everywhere. Everything will stop.
For us. I mean, it's like I feel like it's so close. I feel like it's so close. I keep expecting billboard signs to go up everywhere that the rapture's about to happen.
Camping's little gig he had.
Yeah,
I remember that. Remember Harold Camping? We put up all those billboards. It was 2021, was it? Was it or no? 2010. It was back then. The guy was a total failure for doing that, and he spent money, millions of dollars on advertising billboards. I literally drove by one, and this guy, you mean to tell me they allowed a billboard to go up like that, of false doctrine, of lying about the rapture saying it's coming when he doesn't know for sure himself, just to make money, whatever it is, to bring attention. What he should have did is the rapture is imminent, believe in Jesus. That would have been a good billboard instead of what he put. And a lot of people were sold their homes because of this guy. And I said, well, there'll be more people that'll come like that and cause people to do this. I've heard people that sold their homes and their cars and emptied out their bank accounts because of last year's prediction from you know who, the big J, everybody was looking up to. I'll keep it at that. And I know when I talked about him on my show just after the failed prophecy, I got attacked left and right by people. They said, how dare you talk about him like that? He's
Oh,
like
I
a
got it
savior.
too.
They're all putting their
Yeah.
hands up like, praise the big J, you know? I said, guys, you want to worship that guy? Go right ahead. And he says he doesn't owe anybody an apology. Really? Yes,
No,
you do.
he
doesn't
asked
owe
Medic
he's,
for when it didn't happen. He asked Medic for some more money for another night in the hotel.
Well, he thinks he doesn't owe the world an apology for destroying a lot of lives, and he should have owed up to his responsibility. Instead, he does a disappearing act. He just disappears out of the YouTube community. You don't see
Look at
hear
this.
from him again.
Look at this.
Satan used.
We're only halfway through. Let's go. There you go. Well,
1 hour in.
Noah texted me a couple minutes ago. He said, I'll be on in a minute. Man, I'm sorry. There's cops, and we're trying to see what's going on. There's 4 squad cars or
Who's
something.
going to be on? Who's coming on with us?
Noah.
Noah, my Greek friend. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, does he live in Greece or something like that, or is he just learning Greek?
No, he has learned Greek, and he's but
Wow.
he'll have to explain all of that to you, man. I mean that's
No, I'm just curious.
yeah. Then you'll get ready to play the buckle up, when he gets on. All right,
I'd love
all
it.
right. So yeah, but oh man, we're I was gonna say something there, man. Oh, squirrel. Oh, we're here, folks. Yeah. Going back to that guy, the big J
Joseph.
guy, and I got swept up in that even after I had, ran across Philip in March or April, and still, and it's like, there's so many things that happen that are inexplicable, that for me to have gone up there on August the 1st and met him and all these different things. And then for that night of the 23rd, if you go back and watch, Shane goaded me in, and I sat right here on this phone right here, and I dictated into the phone what Shane said, the most ridiculous request for this crazy black swan or whatever I said. And he came on the night of the 23rd, and I hadn't slept in 26 hours, and I'm just leaning back, and I'm like, well, don't you think it could happen? And like, it's working out like Jonah, like maybe God, told him it was, but it's, it's going to come out a little different, right? Because everything's lining up 2,550 days and, 3 times. And then, of course, I looked that up myself afterwards. And on the official whatever their calendar that the Jews, I forget what you call it, but it's 2,550 days from there to there,
like the
every year.
The Gregorian.
Every year. No, according to their rabbinical calendar, something like that. It's 2,550 days every year from the for 7 years from the Feast of Trumpets to the and it's like, why didn't I look that up myself beforehand? I didn't look that up, and it was Noah, the guy that we're waiting on right now, and he was basically saying that because that was one of the things that sold me was all the children, and it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to argue theology with a child? Yeah, I mean, this is, and of course, Noah, like in the Greek or whatever, he talks about how impressionable and how the demonic has a field day with children. And they were just having a field day with that. And I mean, I'm sitting there, and then I figured and looked at the 2,550 days, and I'm just like, I could have had a V8, Now I'm dating myself.
You know what's interesting is when it comes to the Jews, amidst the diaspora, they got scattered all over the place for literally thousands of years, like literally. So I'm just hanging out specifically with the 10 tribes of Israel. Imagine for at least 400 years plus, you don't care anything about Jehovah God. It might sound blasphemy until you read the Old Testament, until you read the kings of Israel. And when you say Israel today, people go, "Oh, you're talking about all of Israel?" No, I'm talking about the 10 northern tribes, including Ephraim. They didn't want anything to do with God, period, for hundreds of years. And they didn't have the Torah, which is interesting. So, and they didn't have the temple. They had a golden, oh, he was just there. He just popped on for a sec. He might be back. We're so close to having him.
Yeah, he
but
said
they didn't.
he had to give a statement.
Okay, yeah. So Israel didn't have the Torah. They didn't have the temple.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the priests because they evicted them. They said, "Hey, Joe Blow, you look like a pretty reasonable guy. Would you like to be a priest?" They're like, "Sure. What's my job? See that golden calf in Bethel?
Mm-hmm.
We want people to worship that calf. That's your religion now. Awesome. Well, what's my job? See that calf, that golden calf in Dan? That's your job for hundreds of years until the Assyrians come and carry us away and disperse us and we get forgotten." So you have all those guys gone. Then you have Judah, who is losing their temple day by day. It's being ransacked day by day and being stripped down to almost nothing. And they're being carried off to Babylon. Hundreds of thousands of Jews from the tribe of Judah, arguably the tribe of Benjamin, and the Levites that were evicted from Israel, going to Babylon. So now they're there for 70 years. When they come back, and it's only about 50,000 of them, when they come back, the rest stay because they enjoy their life. It's probably why we get the wise men from the east coming from there, because they live there. They don't even understand Hebrew anymore. And Ezra is literally pulling his hair out with Nehemiah and others, trying to walk them through the Old Testament as to how they got to where they are. And they're like, "Sorry, can you just slow it down a little bit and just start with Genesis chapter 1 more time?"
Mm-hmm.
And they would speak it in Hebrew, and they didn't understand it. They didn't understand it. That's only 70 years. So you're telling me today that I'm going to go to a Jew today that doesn't understand Hebrew inside and out about the history of Christianity and everything in that, when they don't have the Holy Spirit in them? I'm going to go to them when they rely on the Talmud, which has 10,000 pages, and they're relying on the rabbi and they don't read the Old Testament. I'm going to go to them for wisdom? You got to be kidding me. Brother Noah, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing, Shane, Rick, Steven? How you guys doing?
Excellent. You know,
Hey,
Steven
dude.
has been giving you props nonstop.
The drones
Thank
didn't
you.
they didn't take you away, did they?
You know, they're getting close. I'm serious, dude.
Great shirt, by the way.
You-
Is that a Tim
give it
Burton
time.
Batman shirt? Is that a Tim Burton Batman
Yeah,
shirt?
yeah.
Yes.
The 90. I think
Dude, it's
it'll be
time for
89.
it's
89,
time for the
yes.
buckle up. It's time for the buckle up, dude.
Oh,
Come
yes.
on.
Okay, hang on. It's
Yeah,
coming. Noah, watch this. Here it
Hold
comes.
on,
Here it
hold
comes.
on, Noah.
Oh, hold on. Buckle your shoe. Here we go.
We only have 4 hours left to go on this marathon live stream. So buckle up, panelists.
There we go. We got 4 hours left. Okay, so
Wow.
maybe give us a little
Dude.
bit of your background, Noah, because again, the accolades are crazy by Steven, but I'd like to get a little bit of your
Really?
story, where you're from, and how did you come upon this
Social security number. Yeah.
This ancient Greek language. How did
Yeah, really.
How did that become an interest for you? And then we'll dive in.
So, yeah. So for me, I had been kind of in the work salvation for a while. Um, I wasn't really somebody who believed in grace. I wanted to, but it wasn't really there. So for me, it was more of what can I do to be saved? What is it that I can prove to the Lord? In other words, my faith was not rested in Christ. I acknowledged it, I knew it, but I never actually had the, the faith, the confidence that most people do today. So I just got tired of it one day, and I wanted to walk away from the Lord because I was like, I just can't do it. I'm under law essentially, and I'm like, I just was starting to get tired, man. And eventually, I just thought, okay, I had this guy named Corey Minor, and Corey Minor was a really good in Greek. He's the reason why I actually got into Greek, and we look at verbs differently now, but at the time, I mean, he explained the double negation in Greek, which was ume apolontai, which is to say, you know, the possibility and the certainty of a Christian losing salvation or being being able to be perished is cut off. There's no way. Uh, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who are you? And so I started to kind of get into the Greek more. I got a collection actually of some of my Greek books that I have, but it all stemmed from him and wanting to know, how are you really saved? I was always, told, hey, make sure you repent, make sure you're always confessing, and it's all these works that you have to do. And for the past almost 4 years, I just got into Greek, and I'm still learning. I'm still getting where I need to be, but my approach now is verbs, understanding how faith works, what is the gospel, and I'm so glad that I got into it because I really don't think I would have been saved, even under what I had believed. So there were a lot of people say, well, faith is giving your heart, or faith is doing this and this. I'm like, no, it is a verb of state of affairs that deals with the confidence you have in a statement of truth. Well, the statement of truth is, God rose his son from the dead. That statement of truth allows you, now that you're convicted by it, all an act of God, by the way, it allows you to be presented with it, and is now up to you to believe in it. And really, you could say belief is just to trust or to have confidence in something, and really confidence in that Christ did it all. So that's kind of some of my background. I like to specialize, or at least try to get more into the harder verses that people say, like, you lose your salvation, or, oh, if you're doing these things, remember what Galatians says, or if you sin too much, or if you've once been enlightened, all the verses you could think of. I'm kind of like, well, hold on a minute, let's take a look at this. And because there was a guy that I knew at the time who, I was like, well, how do I know that I'm saved? And he just went on and was basically like, just telling me, well, you've done this before, or, you've said to have done this. And he's like, you're going to hell. I mean, he literally gave me the rundowns, and he was a younger kid like I was, but I was like, well, we met on YouTube because he was a rapturist as well. But the dude was basically just give me doom and gloom, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to walk away from the faith, was because I didn't know how I was saved. I'm like, well, oh my gosh, am I going to hell? Is that what you're saying? And it scared me so much that I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Greek. I'm going to understand how the verbs work. I'm going to understand how the nouns work. And I'm going to get where, I want to say where nobody else has gone, but that determination, so to speak, of I'm going to go as far as I can, because I don't want people telling me, oh, you're not saved because of this. Well, what's the Greek say? Some people say, oh, well, I've heard people come before and be like, well, you can miss the rapture if you're doing this or this. I'm like, if you go back to Thessalonians 5:10, the use of Christ having died use what we call a Hana conjunction, which denotes purpose or result. So the purpose of Christ dying is to accomplish a goal. What's the goal? That whether we are to live, I hate to say live, but whether you are awake, watching, or whether you are asleep, which is spiritual, to actually to yield to spiritual sloth and sin, the accomplishment of the cross accomplishes that goal, the purpose, that whether you're doing one of those two things, you're taken with. You're gone. You're not left here because of your sin. You're gone. Boom. And to understand that, I'm like, oh my gosh, because that gave me so much comfort to know this is why this is used. And again, I'm still learning, but from what I've read and understood, I'm like, I rest easy compared to resting in myself. You know what I mean? And I used to always, be like, well, have I done enough of this? I had gotten baptized in high school because I was always taught you need to be baptized, because otherwise you may not be saved. By the time I actually dug deep into baptism, it's actually, God forgive me for saying it like this, it's the most useless thing you can do today. I wouldn't even recommend it because it's all about a heart recognition, the orientation of a person's heart that says, do you understand what you are trusting in? Do you understand that? Because otherwise I'm giving you a bath. I'm giving you an overglorified bath. And if you understand that, we have problems down the line. That's why people walk away from the faith after being baptized, after doing so many things, and they're like, you know what? I just don't feel it. Peace, I'm out. And so it builds your confidence in what you're trusting in versus, other things that people just kind of temporarily put their faith in and then say, you know what, I just can't do it. I mean, I had a girl that I knew who was actually big into the rapture as well. Her name was Delia Kefhart. And back in 2022, I started talking to her again, and she walked away from the faith. She no longer believed. She was done. And I felt responsible to a point because that was when I was kind of having a rut in my faith. And she went back to some of the stuff that we talked about. And she's like, you know what, you were right on da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you know what, that's not what we had talked about. It's not what I meant. And I felt responsible because I'm like, you know what, now I feel bad because of my rut in the faith. Now you walked away. But she was never one of us to begin with. Didn't know the gospel, just basically into the rapture, and that was it. So, but that's kind of a little bit on me. Sorry, I took up probably 10 minutes there, but that's my background. And kind of just trying to help people out as well as best I can with what the Greek says. How is your faith?
Right.
What do you believe in? And reaffirming people where they need it. So that's pretty much
cool. And where I
you.
kind of fit into this mix, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
I don't speak Greek. I don't
Neither
speak
do I.
Hebrew. I don't speak Swahili, Latin, or anything else. But I like to say in some ways I'm quite deadly at English. I'm deadly at it, right? Like whether good or bad,
Yeah.
I could be horrible at it, right? But
Yeah.
I study a lot in a language that I know because English is hard enough as it is before I can veer off into other languages, right? Like, so I use the King James Bible for pattern
Good for you.
recognition.
That's good.
Right. I'm looking for patterns because if I flip to the NIV and then the next month I'm in the NLT, then the next month I'm in the Message, and then I'm in the New American Standard, and then the New King James, I'm going to get lost a little bit because every sentence is going to look a little bit different to my eyes. So I need pattern recognition.
Yeah.
So if I see something where Jesus shows up in a synagogue and somebody hands him a scroll and he rolls it out and goes, this day, this is being fulfilled in your eyes. I'm going, wait a minute. He's reading Isaiah 61 because I just read that last month, Isaiah. And that's talking about he will heal the blind, the lame, all this kind of stuff, right? So I'm like, now I got some patterns to go off of, right? So when you're going into Greek, is that kind of the same kind of thing as you're looking for patterns? Like you mentioned verbs and that to kind of go, okay, this is kind of the flow of how Greek is. I got to start matching it and figuring things out because it's different than English. It's a different way of, like, if you go back to koinonia,
well,
like we're talking about koinonia in Greek, right? Not modern Greek.
Yes.
For the audience.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Okay.
Koine, Hellenistic Koine Greek. Yeah, that is the Greek. Well, what's interesting too is that the biggest thing we're going to have a debate on in terms of which Greek to use is going to be a bit. When it comes to verbs, we have the most struggle because verbs are something that a lot of people have said encode time, which is called temporal reference. So if I say the aorist is past, present is present, future is future. Well,
Right.
to most colleges today, you're going to be taught about verbs being that way. For me, I was not taught that because time is a matter of context. Context can change based off certain variables. For instance, if I go to, I think it's in John or Matthew, where God says, "This is my son in whom I am well pleased." Well, if I go to the aorist, that verb is parsed as past tense. But we know that there's a problem with that because past tense is past tense.
Yes.
Right? At least in that understanding.
Yeah.
But instead, with a verbal aspect, which is what I'm used to, we understand that is not quite the case. The aorist really just shows a completed whole of an action. So it's just okay. Shane went ahead and invited Noah. Okay, that's looked at as completed, where it's not ongoing or kind of still in progress.
Right.
So when we have time, it can become tricky because instead of saying, "Oh, it's an aorist," God was happy. No, He's happy now. So we have a present aorist. So stuff like that. But when you read the Greek, something that I like to do is stick to. I'm not going to make it long because I'll lose you guys for sure. But we go by verbs. Verbs can be transitive or in Stephen. We go by transitive or transitive verbs.
Right. Yeah, like English focus on when it comes to verbs on when, whereas Greek is the how. Like you get a little bit more into the how of it. So there's a little bit of a conflict already in how we process the words. Like you said, if we're talking about time, which whenever Jesus would start talking about himself, people are like, well, it's kind of interesting that he's a man, but yet he's also omnipotent as well.
Fully God.
Yeah. And that's where people get hung up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got to be quite honest with you. And this is debated, and I'm still figuring this out to some degree because, like, when you read in John 1:1 where it said, and the word was God. Well, realistically speaking, that's not really true. Yes, he is God, but it's better to translate. I like this translation better just from the way it's used, but you don't have a definite article. The definite article is like saying, I'm just going to use Batman, for example, the Batman, or you, Shane, the Black Swan. That conceptualizes, we'll just say, the noun. But if you don't have one, if you don't have an article, the word "the," it becomes anarthrous, which just means it is a noun without an article, which can be open to interpretation. Could it be attributive in some degrees, where it's telling us something about this noun? Is it, just different stuff like that. And so when it says, and the word was God, realistically, you could still say he was God, but a better translation would be to say, he was divine. He was deity. And I like that better because Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe any of that. And even in the Greek, it'd be like, hey, guess what? He is divine. He is deity. And that's what I like is how it's still,
in their Bible, it's he was
it's
God,
so weird.
and he is a God, little g, almost like in some ways. Whereas, sorry, you go. Yes, sorry,
now,
Rick.
I want to say something to Noah before it goes. I think it go on. I didn't want to just barge out.
For sure.
Oh, dude, what?
Noah, you were on my show. I think I've had you on my show a long time. I don't know if you look familiar, but maybe it's just me. But I just want your quick answer before I go. What do you see?
Yes, go on.
What do you think is going through your head when you look at this war that's about to explode with Israel and Iran in the next coming weeks? They're getting ready to do it.
Oh, dude.
What is going through your mind right now when you see that?
Daniel 9:27. That's what I think. I really think
or
the Daniel
9:38 maybe.
Well, I'm thinking that's what's going to end up leading to. Once this war is over with, we're going to see probably Daniel 9:27 because I went through some of the stuff that the Accords are wanting to bring, and I got to be honest with you, Rick. I really think this war will lead to why we need the Daniel 9, so to speak. So I think once this is over with, we go home. It will be one of those things where it'll be quick. And
Oh,
Rick, watch
amen.
the rest of this when you get a chance. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna be here much longer. I really, really do not.
I'm feeling it, man. I feel like this is it. God has got it on a hold right
Rick,
now.
I wanted to say one thing. Do you have time tomorrow so we can get this thing done? Because I just remembered how to do the branding thing.
Yeah, I'll get to you on that tomorrow.
Okay. All right, dude. You got my number and everything, bro.
Yeah, make sure you have it in the email and I'll check it. But email your number to me again tonight,
okay,
before you go to
Awesome.
bed.
Thanks for being here, Rick.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Noah's
man,
right
thank
on
you.
point. Noah's right on point when he said that. He feels like it's very close. And do you have a channel, Noah?
No.
I do. Well, technically, yes. It's Stevens.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
I am his
Technically,
channel. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
let me tell you this: you should have a channel too. But you think about it, folks. This what this man just said is true. That this could be a very quick war in Israel. Iran has boasted. They said that they will wipe Israel off the face of the map. I said, well, when will they do that? Something's got to make Iran furiously mad for them to go after Israel. And I think this is what it's starting to look like, guys. Now, if this is the year, it does put us right on schedule with 2032, 2033. Bob Barber mentioned that tonight. I don't know if you know my show, Noah, but I have a show called Prophecy Mondays. We were just on tonight, and he was on there. I would encourage you to go look at the whole show. It gets really good as we get in the middle of it, and it's all about the return of Christ. And I think he's right at the door, guys.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I think
Rick.
you're right.
Thank you, Rick. And
nice to meet you, Noah.
We'll get
Nice to meet
together
you too, my
tomorrow.
man.
We'll get everything ironed out, bro.
It's always
Awesome.
sir. It's always a pleasure, Shane.
Yeah.
To have
Awesome.
me on. Appreciate it, guys.
Cool.
Love you all.
Have a good one. All right.
Love you too, brother.
So here's something I found in Sinaiticus. I don't know if you could, how good you are, or if you value Sinaiticus or Vaticanus or whatever with the Greek. But I don't know if
I
in the Old Testament, can you read any of that? Do you know what that says?
I can kind of read it. Now this is the type of Greek you would have used when John was around. So we're actually treated with stuff like this. I'm gonna see if I can find it. So
yeah,
what you're showing is the original language, which is where you only use capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
For Greek students, we don't do that. We go by something like this. Let me see if I can show you guys. We go by the lower cases and all that. It's not that big of a difference, but can I do this? Okay, well, I'm gonna show it to you guys like this.
Okay.
You guys can see it. We go by the.
Yeah.
In other words, it'll be much harder to read, so it's gonna take me a while to read it. But
right.
Technically, if it was in the letters I needed, I could probably parse it and do what I need. So it wouldn't be too bad. But here, no, it's gonna take me a while because we don't read. Any Greek person's going to take their time on this because we have what's called postpositives. Postpositives would stop and start new sentences. So this is even tough for even the people that are teachers. But
yeah, and I get that. It's funny because
which verse is it?
This is well, I was hoping you could tell me. We run into this kind of stuff with Wes Huff as well, a little bit. He studies a lot of Greek and he goes back and he goes overseas and all this kind of stuff, right? But and I'm not saying this to you, but if you take the Greek lexicon from Wes and put it aside, he's a lost puppy. He's a lost puppy. He needs his lexicon.
Yes.
And this is what happens with people when they study the Greek lexicon. Is you get used to the patterns and everything there. And I think what you're referring to with the bigger letters and smaller letters helps our eyes recognize that, hey, this is a sentence. Because you read this stuff, your eyes are going to go cross-eyed after a while. They will, right?
Yes.
So here's what this verse is. I'll show you what this verse is. Maybe this will make it easier for you. I just put it in Latin. Maybe that helps.
Oh, I can't do that then.
All right. Okay. Let's go to Hebrew. We'll put it in Hebrew.
Yeah, Hebrew.
This was tough.
Hey, I'm not Derek.
This was tough. I had a tough time putting this in Hebrew because it's copyrighted. Modern Hebrew is copyrighted, which is interesting, right?
What?
Yeah. Modern Hebrew is copyrighted, right? Because it's not in public domain. You can't go back in time to Jesus' day. Obviously, the New Testament was written in Greek, but that's okay. So here's what the verse
Yeah.
is in English.
Mm-hmm. Wow. See, now if it was in the small letters, I could probably do it much better to actually give you the actual bits that are the most important. But what's actually interesting too
I just thought maybe "For God so loved the world" would show up maybe in the first few dozen letters. 105 letters, which is interesting because in English it's like the King James Bible. It's 113 letters, which is very close. It's almost transliterated.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so you see the word that.
Sorry, which one are we looking at?
No, it's fine. The word that in the where it says that whoever believeth.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that I've heard people. I actually ran into a guy earlier who had said that the gospel is. And this is more me nitpicking, but he said the gospel is John 3:16.
Yeah.
What's funny is that if you actually look at the word that, it actually is Hena. Hena is a purpose or result conjunction and starts a whole new clause by itself.
Right.
So when we read that, what's really cool is that it's not telling us what the good news is. It's telling us the purpose in which the good news comes from.
Right.
So it's not so much that, the good news that, I mean, it is a good news, but it's not the one that we stand by in which we are saved by. The total difference. So this kind of gives you the purpose of where we get the good news from. But for people to say, that's the good news right there. No, it's not. It's the purpose, but it's not the good news. So you can't get saved off John 3:16. It would be. I mean, I guess you could if you have Corinthians 15:1-4, but without that, it's going to be pretty difficult. If you ask me, but
it's a good start from the perspective of actually understanding that God loved the world so much that He gave His only Son. Like, it's pretty basic from the perspective that if you don't believe in Him, you don't have a chance. If you don't believe in Jesus Christ, what He did for us on the cross, you can't enter into the kingdom of God. That's in my English.
Yeah.
I don't need Swahili to understand that without Jesus Christ, I can't get into heaven. I can't. I need Him. I need His shed blood. Without that, that's it. Like, I can't get in. It's so important.
Well, yeah, you're right. And a lot of people, it's almost like the blood is almost like acid to them. It sounds silly, but like I know that whenever I've preached to somebody about the good news of what the cross accomplished,
it's like disgusting or something.
Literally,
right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like I don't even get to the blood part yet. I just say, hey, you trust in the finished work of the cross, having your confidence, and they're already like, what? Like they'd rather hear return from your sin, and otherwise you're not saved. And I'm like,
yeah.
Are you? Why do you guys hate it? And then you think about it, it's like, oh, okay, it's the blood, and then you think, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, it's sad, man, because you really think to yourself, hey, this is the best way to get to heaven here, the only way, and you're already disgusted by it. And I haven't even mentioned blood yet. It's like, I mean, you can work through salvation like the Catholics do. I mean, that's totally fine, but you're not going to get to heaven. And so,
yeah, you know what?
But,
I like Noah.
Yeah, man.
How old are you?
I'm 23. I'll be 24 in.
Oh my Lord!
May.
If I knew what you knew at 23, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. I think up until maybe last year, I knew nothing. I'm 56. If I knew what you knew,
what?
I know, man.
Shane, if I get a gold
you got
star,
me now at least.
Did I get a Blackswan gold star for
What's he saying?
the people I bring to your channel?
Yes, bro? Yes. This is gold. This is awesome. Thank you.
What?
I appreciate it.
Can we just touch on a little bit on the restrainer?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Steve just goes over people. Ignore him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, because go ahead, Noah.
Well, I just want to make sure because like my screen was like you guys' screen was going black. That's why I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. No,
I didn't know.
Here.
That's why I was saying
we just talk over each other. That's what we do here.
I think my mic is too high. I'm sorry about that.
But yeah, no. A lot of I know that with what me and Rick were just saying, we have I'm not going to say a whole lot on this just because I don't want to get not that I'd get in trouble, but I definitely don't want to have any unwanted drones coming over me. But I know that we have certain equipment that's getting to the Middle East. It actually has already arrived. and because I have a family member who was in the military, and it was, I think, the Bubba News, some of the stuff that had arrived in the Middle East, and he's like, okay, that you're going to go to war. You have a number, basically a matter of days, or maybe most weeks. And he's like, the amount of equipment that they've brought over there.
Oh wow! From the
In
U.S.,
theory,
like armament and all that stuff.
yes, he said one of the I think one of the destroyers that was there. He's like, you pull that thing up. He's like, you're going to flatten whoever you're going to war with. And the thing that I want to encourage people with the most, and I'll admit, Steven knows this too, the defense of a pre-tribulation rapture can be very difficult. I'm going to be straight up right now. I've read, not to flex, but I've had to read probably 10 different types of manuscripts just to get answers I've needed. And I'm going to be straightforward and say, I love the King James. I try to go by the Textus Receptus most that I can, but there are things that I think even the Textus Receptus does fail at. There are certain nouns used, there are anarthrous, there are certain types of verbs used, certain pronouns used that the King James reads that I personally do not think should be there because of the way later parts in the verse will read. But the good news here,
you're crossing over into my domain now. I don't
I
want to
know.
start slapping people around here because they'll get embarrassed.
I know.
Embarrass you with
well,
English.
Let me just say this: everything. Like everything is good though. I mean, like the majority is good, but it's just that there's stuff that I'm noticing where like, and maybe this is better for a different stream, but I know that rapture wise, we leave the moment the Antichrist is revealed. We do not leave prior. We leave the moment he is revealed, and thank God that's the case, because if you actually read through the rest of the Greek, and you guys know, I'm sure you guys do, but Johnny and Ron, you guys know those two? Okay.
Yes.
If you guys do, I really think John and Ronnie, of course, but I think John, I think he put a lot more of it together, because I don't know, I think, was it more of his project or was it both of their projects?
I think it's both, but I think
that
Ronnie
they put together, because I forgot.
He's the deeper.
Do you know which one it was?
No, no.
Really?
But are you talking about which one? They do it.
There we go. Okay, can you guys hear me better?
Yeah. Yep. They do
okay,
it.
good. So I'll make sure, because my speaker was going bad. But so I've noticed the work they've done on the Grisha and Persian spirit, I think, was, in my opinion, some of the best work I've actually ever heard, because it makes the most sense. Yep. So when we think of the Antichrist, we think of, hey, he's revealed later. We leave first and then he's revealed. But if I read the Greek, I'm like, there's absolutely no way we can leave prior to him being revealed. It wouldn't make sense. And so the good news is I don't believe we're going to go through anything, but we will end up having to see who he is at his peace and safety event. So the gap theory, you can pretty much cut that out. There's no need for a gap theory based off what I would read. I mean, if you believe in it, that's fine, but there's, in my opinion, problems with that.
When you say gap theory, you're meaning like we go and then maybe 30 days or whatever, the Antichrist shows up, or vice versa, that kind of
correct thing. Yes, correct. I do not believe in a gap theory. The reason I say that is because of the use of an exception clause in 2 Thessalonians 2, which pretty much says, unless these two things happen, we do not go home.
Right.
And what's actually funny is if you read any other translation, you're going to notice day of Christ is the predominant interpretation for the day that has not come yet. But when I read the TR version, a lot of it becomes day of Christ. And what's really cool about this, and this is just how I would normally throw this out there too, just even if I were to take the exception clause and everything else and say, well, okay, what's a general logical reason why there probably isn't a gap theory? I'd say, well, can he get saved the same way the moment the rapture happens? No, you're in a whole new different dispensation, because now you have a works gospel, which I've heard people say, well, we're still saved the same way. Well, you're not wrong, but at the same time, though, you can't.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like if you can't get saved the same way, then
Mhm.
how is this a different dispensation? You're in a different dispensation now.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's no need for a gap theory. It's already been done, or
Yeah.
not done, but the things have been done to where you don't need it.
Yeah.
And
And that's
so,
fair. That makes sense to me. Like,
yeah,
we've always heard rockets come down, we go up, that kind of stuff, right? But again, if we use your logic, and it seems to make sense to me that now I only read English again, but it seems to me
no, I know.
when Paul is talking, he's like, don't panic, guys. Don't panic because the lawless one, like this can't happen until this guy shows up, basically. I'm paraphrasing. So you guys are all
Yes,
panicked right now. You're running like crazy, like, oh, doom and gloom, like you missed something or whatever. And it's like, hang on here, time out. I don't need to write this stuff anymore because you already know that this has to happen first. When that happens,
yeah,
then now. So that tells me he can't be born the day that we go up. Like it would be weird
yeah.
that he's a baby boy
Well, you know,
and he's got to wait 33 years while we're in heaven. We've been raptured for 33 years. Like it doesn't make sense, but people don't like to think of it that way. It's like he is a
yeah.
mature man right now, ready to
Hmm.
negotiate peace. We
Oh yeah.
just may not know who he looks like, but that doesn't mean he ain't here.
Well,
Just not
yeah. No.
activated
You're
like
actually
Battlestar Galactica.
correct.
You know
I
that whole
Yes, I do.
I'm a
Yes, I know
huge
Battlestar
Battlestar
Galactica.
Galactica.
Yes,
What do
I've
they
played it
call
maybe
them?
once or twice. It
Almost
is
like
fun.
sleeper. What do they call basically these people? They didn't
Um,
know that they were Cylons until one day they all show up in that one room and the camera goes
yeah,
around them all and they're like, you mean I'm a fracking Cylon?
yeah.
Anyways.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No, like, well, and if you really want to have your socks blown off, you'll actually the day that we actually leave. I'm not joking. Literally, the millisecond they've signed peace and safety is actually the moment the church leaves. You have an adverb that's used that
Like before
says,
the ink dries.
yeah, literally. So, well, the moment he confirms it, or in the original Hebrew, you
Strengthens
actually
it.
don't have to worry. Yes, well, he strengthens, confirms. I'm still working that out because it can go either way. But the good news is, I say that he's going to be revealed because it's in a passive voice. Passive voice is pretty much going to be this individual receives an action that he couldn't control. So, like if I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give you $2 million. You received it. You didn't do anything to, I don't want to say earn it, but I mean, like I graced you with it, right? It just
Yes.
happens. You
Yes.
you have no control in the action.
Yeah.
So the cover is pulled off of him when this peace event happens. Now, here's why I say it's peace. Um, Thessalonians 5:3 actually tells us that when they should say peace and safety. Now, here's interesting about peace and safety.
Mm-hmm.
You number one, you'll never read about it in later books. Really, the only peace and safety you ever actually have is pretty much going to end up being in that book. And Paul says now get this. And this is where I fought a lot with the wrath. Because, and again, I'm going to be honest with you, a pre-tribulation rapture, I love it. I'm still pre-trib, but I'm going to say this, defending it can be very difficult because wrath is not specified. I call it an ellipsis. An ellipsis is where I wink at you instead of saying this is it. I say and walk off. I'm
Right.
insisting to you this is the case without moving my lips.
Right.
So when we say that the wrath begins, you kind of have to infer it, okay? Because realistically, the day of the wrath actually comes at verse uh, 17 of chapter 6, within that time span. And then, of course, as you know, they're not so much realizing it; they're just kind of saying it. Oh my gosh, wrath has come. But the good news is, and we'll get to that later, because I found something for it, but it's just that it can be hard to defend. But my point being is this: Um, the word used for destruction is a word that you don't want to get caught up in. It's actually a very, if you're one who said peace and safety, you're screwed. Because quite literally, the word would mean to bring biblical disaster to bring total ruin. I'm not talking like, oh yeah, a little bit of a smack or a foot.
Right.
No, I'm talking
Right.
you are screwed. Like if you were the image in a dictionary of what screwed would look like, it'd be those people. That's
Right.
how bad this word is.
Right.
So whoever is saying peace and safety, which we know who, sudden destruction comes upon them in biblical proportioned ruin. And we understand that's not really mentioned anywhere else. So my first thought was, we know what this day represents. Now,
Yeah.
why does Paul say that it's 2 Thessalonians 2, where the apostasy comes first and then the revealing? And I want to say this too. The apostasy is not the rapture. People have said it before. They said, well, we're going to leave in the rapture first, then he's revealed. There's no way that's the case. In old uses of the Greek, like I'm going to say probably Plato's time or earlier, yeah, in classical Greek, you could have gotten away with saying uh, basically departing is all it meant back then, or things as such. So you could get away with, oh yeah, the departure, and then we're good. But as we got further into the Bible, if you read what Jesus said about divorce, he said that if a man commits adultery, he's departing from what's true. So that's where we would get apostasy from. So it's not so much that we are going to leave first, but rather it is a departure from what is true, and it's definite, meaning this is an event.
Yeah.
And then the apostasy
It's societal,
is where
almost like on a global mass kind of thing. Like there's something going on that's causing.
Yes. Well, I'll say this: and again, it depends on who you define as those who have declared peace and safety. I think it's Israel, and of course the AC, and maybe other world leaders who have forced this.
Yeah.
But I just find it so interesting because the use of the adverb of then it will be revealed. No, instead it should actually be considered as at that time will be revealed. That's the purpose of the adverb, is to define the timing. It tells you more about how this verb unfolds. Oh, okay, he's revealed when they've said peace and safety and confirmed the 927, but it just shows you the moment that happens, boom, he's revealed. That's what's so cool about it. And it just shows you that this is not really trying to say, oh, later on. No, it's like right now is when they've said this, we're gone. And thank God, because if it hadn't.
I was going to say, it's interesting. It's interesting you picked that up in Greek, and I picked up something similar in English. Again, back to English. I love English. When people talk about falling away, which I think is what you're talking about there, people are like, oh, that means we're falling away from earth, going to heaven. And other people are like, well, that could be Christians falling away, whatever it is, all the stuff. And they're like, well, you have to find the pattern of the word falling or falling away in English in order to go, was this mentioned once or twice before somewhere? And strangely enough, it is mentioned in the Old Testament, specifically with King David. King David flees from Saul. Saul was hunting him down. So he goes to Gaza, that area, which is interesting. We're talking about that in this day and age. But he flees to one of the kings of the Philistines. And he starts spitting spittle all over his beard. And the king looks around going, don't I have enough madmen around here? I don't need another one, kind of thing, right? So King David basically convinced him that he's nutso, and he allowed him to be his kind of like his main man, like almost like in some ways a second in command. He wanted to promote him through the ranks because this guy was awesome. He had a great reputation, all this stuff. Then one day, the Philistines are assembling, and they're going to attack Israel. They're going to attack King Saul. David and his 300 men show up in rank, and the generals are all there, ready to go. And they're like, who's this guy? They know who he is, but it's sarcastic, right? So they're like, who's this guy? And it's like, well, that's David. He's been so loyal to me. I got to have him almost like at the front. Like this guy is going to do some damage for us, right? And the generals
Yeah.
are like, over our dead body, he's not going with us because here's the word. Here's what they were fearing, the generals, that he would fall away to Saul and Israel.
Yeah.
And then get promoted
What's-
there. Like,
yeah.
oh, look at you. You betrayed the Philistines and you came back to Israel and we're going to promote you. So the generals were worried that his allegiance was going back
What
to
altered?
Israel. So that's
Yeah.
what falling away means, according to the English. I don't have to go to
Mhm.
Swahili yet. So now you get a picture, right? And again, these 47 authors that are translators that are putting together the King James Bible, they're considered polyglots,
Mm.
which means they spoke more than a half a dozen languages: French, English, obviously, Spanish, Italian, Aramaic, Hebrew, Greek. They could go out to the market and barter a can of juice from the whoever was in charge, and they can barter. My point is, these guys spoke multiple languages and lived and breathed and understood Hebrew and Greek and all this stuff. So when they transliterated into English, the closest word would be falling away when they're talking about the story of David. So now you get
Yeah.
in English, you get in the New Testament, Paul talking about that can't happen until a falling away. So now you get a
Yeah.
little bit of an image that something is happening or somebody's switching loyalties on a mass. Maybe it's
And
towards the Antichrist.
that's what I'm thinking. Because yeah, and I think you actually defined that perfectly because that really is the worry is that he would have departed from what was true and gone back to Israel. But I mean, it I guess context can kind of lean how it goes, but typically it's just a departure from what is true.
Yeah.
And
They weren't
what's really cool
wrong.
though,
The generals weren't wrong.
yeah,
Like,
no,
he
yeah,
could have. That would have been a
he,
good time to
yeah, it
do
would have
that.
been
If you're going to be in battle, that's a good time to switch your
that,
loyalties, right? So they're worried.
yeah, it
So
would have been.
they sent them home. They sent them home
Hmm.
because they're worried about
Yeah,
that. You don't want to be
well,
looking at your back, worried somebody's going to knife you. That's the last thing you want to worry about, right? So,
yeah, no,
anyways,
yeah,
go ahead.
no, yeah, but I mean, I think you're right on that because the worry there is what kind of apostasy are we dealing with? Is this a religious type, or is this even for the Jews? Are you departing from what you know is true
Yeah,
and going
that's
to
fair.
their version of a Messiah?
Mhm.
We don't know, and it's not really discussed. I know that Paul wrote
Yes,
in ways that were very difficult at times.
for
Peter
sure.
even
For
tells
sure
us,
they were. For sure.
yeah, and
Even
it's
for
annoying. But
Peter. Peter
that's like, yeah,
understood Greek and he had a tough time reading his letters. So give me a break.
well,
I'm going to have a tough time reading in English.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is that even if you even have an apostle like Peter saying, "Hey, man, I don't even know what you're saying. It's hard to understand."
Yep.
Then you know what's going on. But
Yes.
I think that the majority here is that it shows us more of a clear picture of the rapture of the church. Because again, I go by the TR, so or at least I try to do the most that I can.
And when you're
But like I
saying the
know that I'll
TR,
get
you're talking about the Textus Receptus, right?
yeah,
Just for our
thank
audience so
God.
they know there was
Yeah,
thousands of manuscripts
yeah,
that depending on what version you have, they would call them the majority text
the
because that was the
majority, yeah,
general consensus of, let's just say for the sake of argument, earlier Christians would say, hey, we have thousands of manuscripts that are in agreement with each other. And then we have a
yeah,
handful that maybe not. So that's kind of been the debate between, let's say, Sinaiticus and Vaticanus and
yeah.
other handful. They're like, well, we really like this because we believe this is the oldest and the best and the greatest. And then we have 50,000
Mhm.
plus manuscripts that all agree. And so that's the argument now. And I'm like, okay, that's cool that you put all your hopes and dreams on Vaticanus and Sinaiticus, but You get into
Yeah.
trouble when you turn to Genesis 1 because it's not there in Vaticanus, and nor is it in Sinaiticus, which means they don't have the origin story. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. They
Yeah.
don't have the first 23 chapters of Genesis. And arguably in
You kind of
Sinaiticus, I
need
believe
those.
it's 46 chapters. Yeah. So you're not starting off on a good foothold if you don't have the promise of the seed crushing his head,
Yeah.
and the seed of the serpent biting the heel. Like, if you don't have
Yeah.
that, sorry, I'm out. I'd rather go to the
Yeah.
thousands of manuscripts where the early church fathers all agree that there is an origin story, that there is a prophecy that one
Yeah.
day the skull crusher is going to come.
Yeah. No, you're right. See, and that's my part of my issue right now is I've always been loyal to the TR, but I know that there's some things that I am struggling with to translate in the TR because I don't know if I want to get into this tonight because there's a lot and I haven't had all my points written down because it's just so
For
much.
sure, for sure. We might
But
need
you
to
know, like
make
there's
another episode on this, for sure. This would be fun.
yeah.
But you're
Oh,
right.
you
Like
guys will you guys will
koinonia in
get a hoot out of
Greek,
this.
let's just be honest, it's not the easiest thing to understand on the planet because
Oh, it's
one,
not. Oh
it's a
no.
dead language and it's thousands
Oh,
of
very
years
dead.
removed, right? And the same thing with Hebrew. You have modern Hebrew and you have the ancient Hebrew, basically. It's almost like saying we have Latin
Yes.
and we have Italian. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's
Even
not the same,
modern
yeah.
Greek is not the same as Koinonia Greek. And because we're not
Mm-hmm.
there, like I showed you with all the caps, we can
Yeah.
get into trouble because if you don't know the inflection and where the periods are and the commas, if there is none, man, you could now have three guys that are scholars interpret something differently, just like that.
Well, and one of the things that I'm working on right now in Revelation that I've been working on for probably about 2 or 3 weeks is the church being raptured in Revelation. Um, based on my
The man
research,
child.
well, that's the thing, and that you bring up a great point. But I mean, like the very beginning of Revelation,
Okay.
the church is
Gotcha.
not raptured. There, it is literally an impossibility. And I'm not saying we're not raptured. I just mean that
Right.
the time that we leave is not in 4 or 5. You literally you would actually leave around the very first, or yeah, give or take the very first verse of Revelation 6:1. Is when you'd leave because of course the Antichrist, he goes ahead and he rides. We're gone.
Right.
But to say that we've been in heaven prior to that, there's no way. And I know that I'm gonna say, oh, the elders and they cast their crowns and they're dressed in white. Yeah, I've read it. No, it's number one. Uh, one of the things I've noticed is the amount of pronouns in first person versus third person is a very awful debate. But essentially, you can go ahead and read and see that some texts will say that it's hemes. You have redeemed us through your blood. You have purchased us. Uh, and I have a problem with that because, and only because, if you read into chapter 7 and you keep on going, you're going to notice certain qualities that the elders have that don't, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say my opinion, in what I've read off the Greek,
Mhm.
that doesn't match.
Mhm.
It is completely different. Now the good news is, like I said, we're still raptured. You're just not raptured
Right.
till around the end of end of chapter 5, which is good because that matches Paul. Paul says AC being revealed, and at that time you're gone. There you go, no problem. But anything else wouldn't fit. One of the things too that people say is, well, after these things points to, well, it's been a long time right after these things happened. Well, not necessarily. If I was to show you in that verse the actual rendering for after these things, it'd be metatauta. Okay, Menatauta Adon, which is, and after these things I saw. But what's really interesting about the verse is that you have, I'm not going to get too into it, but you have pronouns, right? You have demonstrative pronouns, interrogative, you have personal, you have demonstrative, you name it, you got it. Well, demonstrative pronouns, you have two types. You have proximate and you have remote pronouns. And what these do is they kind of show you a perspective of how up close something is relatively, and then how far off something is. So a good example of this would be, of course, to say tau ta, as in metatauta, after these things, which is the things right now, and then a remote, which is a kana, and it goes by your noun ending. So in other words, it'd be like this: the one the one pronoun shows us, hey, John is literally just starting a brand new thought. He's not really leaving per se, the end of chapter 3. He's just saying, okay, literally in the next sequential amount of things, turning your head, here's what literally happened next. And it's not telling you that there's been a time within that space. There's no way. Because
Right.
it's showing you, hey, up close, here's what's going on. Now, if John had used the remote demonstrative and said, okay, after those things I saw, that actually work because it denotes longer period of time or time that's not near, which could
Right.
rapture did happen. That would actually work. Well, he doesn't do that. So when it comes to the spatial value here, it's John is really trying to tell us the next sequential thing that happened was me seeing this. It's not saying there
Right.
was a distance of time between the churches and Christ talking to them versus what he just now saw. But it's not, the Greek does not support that. The other
Okay.
thing too is that if the elders are I mean, we can get into this later on though too, but I'm just saying it's just a hint of why I say the church could not possibly be in the beginning chapters of Revelation, at least gone yet, is what I should say. It just wouldn't make, there's certain things that just don't make sense, and I say that gracefully, and of course I'm open
Right.
to discussion about it. But
So do you have a
if I
theory
read this,
of who's up there then?
yes, and it's really difficult to explain. Trust me, it's extremely difficult to explain. But my assumption is this: it is a heavenly council, and the reason I say this is because if you go to John, when one of the elders asks John, he says, "Who are these that come out of tribulation?" Well,
Mm-hmm.
I've read 10 manuscripts so far, and I've noticed they use a very rare case. They use what's called the vocative. The vocative is almost, how to explain this? If you want to emphasize something like a noun really, really harshly to say, hey, this is a specific type of person, you would use the vocative. So, example, Kurios is Lord. If I said, or sorry, yeah, Kurios is Lord, but if I said Kori, that
Mm-hmm.
is Lord, but in the vocative. And vocatives are very, very specific. When you see a vocative, you kind of stand in your boots and say, whoa, who are you talking about? Well, John says that he addresses this individual, one of these elders, as Kori, which is to say Lord. It's not the Lord, but it just says Lord.
Right.
Or you could
Right.
say Sir. But here's what's also cool is that it's an arthrus. It's not a specific the Lord. It's a type of celestial hierarchy.
Right.
And then well, back to your question though. I'm gonna say it's either the redeemed 12 tribes of Israel
Right.
mixed with the 12 disciples, or quite literally, it is just a group of celestial beings.
Right.
There's nothing in the context either that says that John is actually speaking to a redeemed church. And
Right.
what I mean by that is you would have actually expected some kind of reference to an ecclesia, some kind of reference that says, "Oh my gosh,
Right.
I know you," or some of that degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never really said. And
Right.
the use of the pronouns indicates, because the original pronouns, I'm going to be honest, are third
Right.
person. They're
Right.
not first. So you wouldn't say us. You redeemed us. The
So
singing, uh-huh.
I'm gonna throw a little curve to you and see if you've ever thought about this. Maybe you can say,
No,
you know
go
what,
for it. Go for
Shane,
it.
you are absolutely insane, Shane. Do you think,
We'll do it.
this is me spitballing here, that perhaps John was talking to Daniel?
How do you mean in what verse?
Well, when we go to the book of Daniel,
Oh,
Nebuchadnezzar.
7:10.
Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar bows down before Daniel. Daniel allows it for some reason. Kind of weird. Kind of a weird verse. But the angel tells him this is not for now. Seal up the book and all this kind of stuff. This is no need for you to understand this right now. Today, go to your lot, which is interesting. Then all of a sudden we get someone showing up, giving John a little bit of a tour through the book of Revelation, basically. Here's what's coming down the pipes and all this stuff. And almost like John does the kind of the same thing as what Nebuchadnezzar does, except this thing, this person or angel, because again, Jesus said in the resurrection, we're going to be like angels, which is interesting. John pays homage to this angel type figure, and the angel says, don't do it. I'm like your brother. I'm basically like one of you, kind of thing, which is interesting the way he says it. So I start thinking, man, what a blessing it would be for Daniel to kind of be there, maybe as one of these elders or something that gets a little bit of a privilege to show John around a little bit.
It could be
one of these seventh angel that has the seventh vial puts the vial aside. I don't know if he put it on his belt and just hung on to it for a little bit, but he gives a tour to John and says, hey, come here for a sec. Come over here. Like he's got the vial in his hand, the seventh one. And he's like, John, I know I just cast that out to earth and everything that went on. Come with me. I want to show you the bride of the Lamb. I want to show you New Jerusalem coming down. And I'm like, this is different. Something is going on here. And John is always like, I don't know what I'm seeing here, right? Like he's like, I don't know, right? And that's a mirror of, I think Ezekiel, or no, Zechariah, probably Ezekiel too, but Zechariah had that problem too, where an angel's peppering him, saying, what do you see? And Zechariah's like, I don't know. You know. I don't know. You know. It's like, well, it's women with lead. Like there's a lead, like you don't get this, a lead plate and women are in there. You don't get it. Four horses on the tree. Like it's, I don't understand Zechariah. But the point is, Zechariah's like, it's almost like the angel's asking him, what do you see? And he's like, you know. How about you tell it to me? That way I don't get it wrong. It feels like John is being approached the same way by an angel saying, what do you see over here? And he's like, I got nothing. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to shoot the idea down. It does sound promising. I
can't prove it, but it's just kind of weird.
Well, we've got a good point. I mean, the reason, like I say what I do is because when we look at pronouns, alphabet police. But when we look at pronouns, I mean, in the Greek, I mean, the nice thing about pronouns is you can actually go and look at who is being talked about. Like when I heard people say, like, well, the myriads upon myriads, thousands upon thousands are the redeemed church, you know. And what's funny about that is that the pronoun does not match that. That is a state of the what you do is you go to the verb in the nearest clause or in that clause, and you disinfect an object. You go through a couple of things first, and you match it in gender, number, and case. Well, case is determined by the verb, but it's the first thing you come to. And what's really crazy is that when I've matched the pronouns, and what's nice about this is that you can't go wrong. This is a very nice way of checking, and it leads you right to where you need to be. Every time I've checked those pronouns to see if it's the church or not, it always refers to an elder or an angel. In other words, there's no church that could possibly match in a pronoun. So whatever is referred to as them or him, it's not going to refer to anything within the church. It's not going to do that. In fact, I did one earlier before I came on, and it's just, again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's good because it kind of shows you, okay, it keeps you sober to the context. It doesn't let you wander outside. But I mean, like I said, one of the biggest things people will go ahead and throw out there is the we were redeemed, we're singing new songs. But the problem that I have with that is the pronouns really should not be first person. They should be third. Third person is actually more accurate, which is the them. They're saying about them. Because Shane, here's what happens. I ran a test and I decided to count, okay, let's play a game of referent. Referent is the person or persons being referred to. Can we do this? And I went ahead and I started testing it out. Okay, and what I came to is this. Some manuscripts had said them, some had said us, some had interchangeable ones. Now, in the end, it came to, again, wasn't the church. But even if, let's just say, some of the pronouns held, here's a problem that I noticed. These pronouns used do not catch the proper referent. It's like a glitch. Because you wouldn't sing about people yourself from first person to third. It's very weird. Greek likes to keep a very close tab on a referent. It doesn't just kind of block and say, well, here's the referent, here's the next referent. No, you will be just, boom, here's a referent point. And I've noticed, because some will read in their Bibles, oh yeah, it says us. It should not say us. The better would be autus, because it'd be accusative. You redeemed them. And it'd be accusative because it affects the object. They are affected by what? The purchase, by the redemption. It wouldn't, to me, any way, shape, or form be the church, at least not till, like I said, seal 1, where
Right.
AC is revealed and we get taken. Luckily, we get taken up. But that's just, like I said, me, because of course, that's just me doing the basics. And this isn't even really my opinion. This is just basic grammar. I'm just saying, hey, do you match? And because,
I was just gonna say, so let's go off of that. Let's just say, for example, that the church is getting raptured a little bit later. What do you think?
How later?
Later than the verses that you're mentioning there with the groups of people and all that stuff. That's all I'm saying. Like let's deal with those group of people saying that they're not, let's say they're not the church. What do you think happens to a person? And then maybe this is basic 101 and stuff, but some people still wrestle with this a little bit. What happens to us as a Christian after we die? Where do you think we go?
That one's been a tough one for me. Well, as of recent, what I've noticed is that your spirit, your soul, all that, you pretty much, if you're dead right now, currently, body's in the ground, but you go to the Lord, right? And then the rapture is your day of redemption, of course, where the body is now redeemed. It's perfect, just like everything else.
Right. So where do we get that idea from? Do you know? I can tell you, but I don't want to tell you where we get that idea.
How do you
separation from the body?
How do you mean?
The idea that our body goes into the ground, which it does. We know this. That's factual. And it returns to the dust, right? But then our spirits go to heaven without our body, right? I think that's what a lot of Christians believe. I don't agree with that. Some people say they go to Sleepy Town and they wait until one day, like soul sleep, all this kind of stuff, right? I don't believe in that either.
Yeah.
But here's what I believe, and maybe you can figure it out in the Greek. Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 15, and he talks a lot about when he's absent from the body, present with the Lord. Like we get that. Like you're in heaven, clear. But he says something interesting.
It's not. I've been silent long enough because you got to read before that.
Okay, let me finish. Let me finish.
For $1.
Yes, you're right. He desires, but it's also known to us that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and that's what he desired. Like he's like, but I have to stay here with you guys. Like I'm wrestling with this stuff. That's fair. It's fair.
Better.
It's better that I be here with you guys right now because he's writing all the scripture in that. But in 1 Corinthians 15, people are arguing with him saying, okay, Paul, I get it. There is a resurrection right now today. I get what you're saying, that Jesus Christ is the resurrection. And when we die, we get a new resurrected body. I get that, Paul, but what kind of a body are you talking about? And he's like, you fool. It's not the body that got planted into the ground. We get a new spiritual body, one that is eternal from heaven, from Jesus Christ himself, designed by Jesus Christ. And most people believe that we get a new body. So we leave this one and we go into another body. The question is always when. But Paul makes it pretty specific that when we die, we get a new body, a spiritual body, because there's two bodies, one from Adam and one from the second Adam from heaven that Jesus Christ himself designed. And most people believe that, but they think that we got to come back for these dust bodies, that we're in heaven as spirits, like Pac-Man ghosts floating around, and we try to hug Jesus and we're like, I can't hug you because I got to go back to earth and I got to get my body that was raped, dismembered, let me down my whole life. That's the body we need. So they're looking down at heaven when Paul says, no, we get a new spiritual body that is eternal. So I'll let you unpack that in Greek at another time. That might be another video. But again, a lot of people are
definitely.
like, we know we're in heaven because they'll preach it at funerals. But a lot of people say that we're just spirits in heaven, ghosts. And that is a pharisaical teaching. That's from the Talmud. That goes all the way back to the Sadducees, where they're like, yeah, no, we just dissolve. Once we die, we just dissolve into the universe. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, they didn't believe in. No, you're right. Yeah, they didn't believe anything like a resurrection or anything as such. Once you live, you're dead, which is why they always had the idea of carrying on a seed. And I've always, not to get off topic, but I've always had a problem with things like the marriage verses, because it's time is, again, of the context. It's not semantic. So I won't get into that like tonight, but I just mean like
we need another video. That's what we're running out of tape right now. We're running out of film.
I know.
But
just
you
like
know
the
what?
Illuminati card.
Yeah, I do appreciate you being on the show. Go ahead, Steve. Maybe we'll give her a little bit of our final thoughts, because I do have to go to sleep eventually. But I don't want to cut it down prematurely. But I want you guys to each have your final thoughts. So we'll go Stephen and then Noah. And I just want to say I greatly appreciate you being on here. And we got to do this again. This is fun.
Man. Heck yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Stephen, you want to go first?
Yeah. My final thoughts are, remember we were talking about doing the Rapture live. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't hear Stephen.
Okay.
I can hear him.
What's he saying?
He is saying he thinks you are awesome.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. I love him. No, he's my friend. Is that what he said?
What's that? No, he didn't say that, but I felt it from him.
Yeah.
Me too. He's got that warm part. I know he said it.
Okay. Noah,
if I
tell him I'm going to send him a link right behind this.
Okay. He's gonna send you a link.
And we're gonna just change horses for just a little
like to
bit.
come back on again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I can't hear what he's saying.
Okay. He said we're gonna change horses.
We're gonna change horses, and we're gonna go further, and we're going live on my channel.
Okay, you're gonna go live onto his channel after this show.
Yep.
So he's gonna send you a link. Look for it in your email.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Okay.
See what I can do.
And
I still can't hear very well.
I'm going to sleepy.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll let Noah wrap up, and then you guys will jump on to another show. So for my audience, go check these guys out on Mission for Christ, because they're going into triple overtime.
We are.
So, final thoughts, Noah.
That's exactly where we're headed right now.
Yeah, no, I'm very glad to be on here. Thank you for inviting me, dude. That's very amazing. I'm very blessed to be on here. I want to meet you actually for quite a while, and it's cool to get to meet part of the gang from Uptime. And I'm just glad to be able to share I'm glad to share what I have with you guys, because it's a big deal. I mean, we really don't have much time left. If all goes well, and I really think it's going to with the peace after this war happens, and we're going home. It is literally a number of days once that happens. So I mean, we don't have time at all, and it's time to get excited. So, and again, for most of you guys, again, gospel is something that we are convinced of, that we're persuaded by. So when we believe, we're believing the statement of truth about what God did, which is what He rose His Son from the dead. And now all that He's asking is for our confidence, our trust, and really to be persuaded by what Christ did. Are you confident that that blood was enough to keep you saved and to save you? If so,
Right.
You put your faith in what He did. That seals a person. There's nothing more. And next time we'll get into James 2, because that's a big verse that people don't understand either, and you'll love it. It really is faith alone. So just keep your guys' faith in the blood and nothing more. Not your works, just strictly what Christ did for you, nothing more. So, and
That's awesome.
Once again, I'm glad to see all of you once again, because I haven't seen.
I was just gonna say, I just can't believe you're 23. I can't believe it. I need to see some ID. I gotta see ID.
Ask Noah. Ask Noah.
Well, my pants are downstairs, but I could probably grab my wallet if you want.
I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. Yeah. But yeah, no, I look. Do I look older, or do I look older or younger?
You look older. You look
How
a little
old?
bit older.
I get
like the face looks young, but the beard throws me off a little bit.
I get that a lot. Do I look like I'm 30 something?
No, like I'd say late 20s.
Okay, there you go. Late 20s. All right, I'll take that.
All right, awesome,
All right,
man.
my man.
Well, I'm gonna say goodbye to
Ask
everyone.
Noah if he's gotten the link.
Okay, check and see if you got a link. Steven just
I
goes
did.
all night.
He can. He's crazy like that. He'll make it happen.
I don't think he can hear me. He's crazy.
Oh, I can hear
he
you.
can't hear me.
Oh, he
either.
can hear me. Oh, whoops.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm setting it right now. Public. There we go.
I still can't hear
All right.
him. Ow.
All right, so I'll just throw you guys
All
in the
right.
back, and I'll show a video to end my show, and then I'll just sign off, and you guys have fun on your next podcast. Awesome.
Sounds
God bless
good, you guys. All right.
See you later. Bye.
See you, Shane.
All right, see you, bro. Have a good night.
Good night.
See you later. Steve's like, I'm done with you. I'm going on to my next show. All right. Thank you guys for being on here. Really appreciate you guys. And I will see you in another video. Bye for now.
Black Swan Revelations here on YouTube brought you today's mind-bending journey. Dive into the discussion, your comments, questions, prayer requests, and powerful testimonies of Jesus' love are what fuel this community. Did today's episode hit home? Smash that like button. New here? Subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a live stream or a video upload. Thanks for being part of today's adventure. Catch you in the next video, or maybe even in the clouds. Stay curious, stay blessed.